Description of this video. So we're at the final video in this series, which is video 9, the passive infrared sensor. So we have the script, the code 9_PIR.py, and we have a little passive infrared sensor. So this is actually the sort of thing you get inside a security camera you might have in a house or in like an office building, that type of thing. It's just the module that comes out of it that actually does the detection of infrared, which is the heat that us ugly humans give out. So this is the wiring diagram for it. There are no additional components other than the actual passive infrared sensor itself and just a bunch of wires to connect up. There's a power wire, the red one, the black one, and then we simply have a yellow cable which connects up to the GPIO. Now for the astute among you, you will have noticed hopefully this additional wire here. Now what that is, that's the connection from the 5-volt rail to the top positive line. Now the passive infrared sensor needs a bit more power than the 3.3 volt wire, so we have to draw that from our 5-volt wire. So be careful wiring that in, because obviously it's got a little bit more power there, but we do need that for this particular circuit. So lesson 9. There's no new Python to learn in this particular one because all the methods and theories we've learned in previous videos along this series. So we're just going to quickly just fly through it. So here is the code. Again, this is the complete code. It's just split down into one page. So we set up Python and the interpreter. We set up our GPIO pins, so the right input and output. We print to the screen some information, so we know that we're waiting for that passive infrared module to run. We then set up some variables to monitor the state. We have a while loop which runs continuously. We then have some if statements, and what they basically do, they check the status if there's been a high voltage or a low voltage. So when the passive infrared sensor is activated, it picks up something moving, some motion. It will send out a high voltage, and it will write to the screen motion detected. Then what it will do is it will basically it will sleep for a second, set the low voltage back to low again, and if it hasn't had a low voltage, it just skips over that to the else and just says we're ready, waiting for some voltage. We import time just to so it will check every 0.01 of a second for motion, and that's it. So this is the actual module that you have. You notice at the top there's the yellow pins, and you've got the VCC, which is the positive voltage, the red wire. You've got the GND, which is for ground, which is the black wire, and the out, which goes to your GPIO on your Raspberry Pi. So let's have a look and see how we wire this up. So here we have our PIR sensor, passive infrared sensor. I found it easiest to wire this up first before doing the rest of the breadboard. So let's just connect this up. We put the red to the 5-volt rail, the new 5-volt rail we just connected, or we will connect in a minute even. Obviously whatever colour we want to the GPIO, and then the black to the grounds. So once we've done this, it's great because we've got a bit of cord on this, allowing us a bit of movement, but we now need to connect up the voltage wire. So we're just going to connect this up to the 5-volt rail. Make sure you don't connect this to anything other than the spare top voltage line. You may blow stuff up if you do it to anything other than that. So connect it to that that new spare voltage rail there. There's the 5-volt going in. Okay, here's our passive infrared sensor. So we're just going to connect up our voltage line to the new 5-volt rail. There it goes. Going to connect our ground to the ground, and we're just going to put our GPIO pin just anywhere, and then we're going to get a spare wire to connect up the two. So from our GPIO pin connecting up to the passive infrared sensor, and there we go. So now let's set up and run our code. So again, make sure you're in the correct directory, and there we have our 9_PIR Python code. Just going to run clear the screen and then run sudo python 9_PIR. Clearly can't type today. There we go. And you can see now it's ready to receive a signal. So here is in the real world. Again, they're a little bit out of sync because they weren't filmed at the same time, but my hand runs across it, it picks up the passive infrared sensor, print motion detected to the screen. You'll notice in the bottom, actually it's set up to trigger off the red LED when it actually goes off as well. So I'll turn the light off, you can see that a bit clearer, run my hand across it, and there the red LED goes on to say that you've actually triggered it off. So if you want to learn a bit more about programming and Python after all of this big series, I recommend that you go to Code Academy's website and follow their fantastic interactive website, because they can teach you more there than I can do in my videos. Thank you for watching. So if you like these videos, like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and subscribe to the